Hey guys, a while ago I made a video about what I thought was the best comic book tablet, and I kind of based that on the idea that you wanted something a little bit inexpensive so that if something happened to it, that it wouldn't be a huge loss. And while I still believe that the Amazon Fire 10 still makes for a great comic book reading tablet, and there's also the Amazon Fire Max 11, I think is what it's called, is an even better version of that. There's something that I think knocks these two out of the water. So while the Fire 10 is going to be the cheapest one, the Fire 11 is going to be a little bit more expensive than that. What we're looking at, I believe, is going to be the best viewing experience for comic books that you can get without paying a huge amount of money like you would with an iPad Pro. So let's get into it. So the first thing about tablets in general is that there's so many of them, right? So there's all kinds of brands, and you know, the typical tablet brands are going to be the Apple, Samsung, and so on and so forth. But there's also a ton of just like random Chinese brands. And while many of those are probably fine, there's too many to know which ones will actually not be that great or not. So that's why I'm really excited about the tablet that I got. And special shout out to a person that commented on one of my videos about this particular tablet. They brought it to my attention and I was able to get a pretty good deal on it. And so we are talking about the Lenovo Tab P12. So as I understand it, there's been a few versions of these in the last couple years. And this one in particular is a 13-inch tablet. So I bought this one. The retail on it was $399.99, but this particular tablet also comes with a keyboard and a stylus and all that kind of stuff. So if you don't need that, then there's a cheaper version that you can get that doesn't come with the keyboard at least. But even then, I got that at a even lower cost than that. So for me, my cost, I believe, was about $320 shipped. And I'm pretty happy with that because at least now I have the keyboard so I can use it if I want to. I don't know how much I will use it, but here we are. Now, part of my reason for liking that it's Lenovo is just the fact that it's a known brand. So you don't have to worry that it's some random Chinese company that may or may not make updates for the tablet. And there's a level of support that you're gonna get that you wouldn't get otherwise if you're ordering from AliExpress or eBay or something like that. And so that's part of it. The other part of it is the fact that it's really inexpensive in the grand scheme of large tablets. It is running just standard Android. It does have the Google Play Store on there, so you can download all the regular apps that you're used to. So you should be able to see that pretty well. And I'm gonna just go ahead and bring up Marvel Unlimited. I do pay for the Marvel Unlimited subscription, so I can try to keep up with as much as I possibly can to try to keep myself informed on the different figures that we go through on the channel. And here you go. So here is a comic book on this tablet. And as you can see, it looks really good. And you know, in my opinion, as long as you're buying from a reputable company, I think that most of the displays that you're gonna come across on the various tablets that they have are gonna be pretty solid. I remember like 10 years ago or so that even from like known brands, like some of the tablets could still be pretty crap. But nowadays, like the displays are just so nice, just about across the board. And as you can see, you can swipe, and it acts just the way you would expect it to, and you get these nice big pages. And so with that in mind, what I want to do is I want to show you a comic right next to the real deal. And to me, this is what makes this tablet just so exciting, because as you can see, you're getting almost 1-to-1 on the comic book. In fact, you're getting a little bit bigger than a typical comic book would be. So you can actually kind of see around the edges that it's kind of coming through. But as you can see, you know, after changing a bit of lighting, that it looks really good. Now, obviously this has an actual backlit screen, so it is gonna look a little bit better. But in real life, like, it's great, it's fantastic. I mean, this is the experience that I've been wanting so badly. And the thing is that I only paid about $300 for the tablet, which, while I understand that's a lot of money for some folks, if you're a huge comic book reader, this is the way to go. Because if you're paying, you know, even $1,000 for a iPad Pro, the 13-inch model, then that's a lot of money to spend. So then you feel like you have to use it for this thing and that thing and so on and so forth. And then it just kind of gets to be too much, right? But with this, $300, not too bad, not super cheap either. Again, I get it, but I think it's a great price point for what we're getting. So let's go ahead and dig into another page, and I'm just gonna move these around, make it a little bit easier to compare against. And again, you can see that it looks really good. Now, from my perspective, like literally looking at it from here, the viewing angles from this way, this one appears to be a little bit darker, but looking directly up at it, they look to be the same level of clear and colorful and bright. But at least from this perspective, it's not great. But how often are you going to be reading like this compared to reading like this with direct, you know, eyes on your page, right? And so I did actually do some comparisons of the iPad Pro versus this tablet, but it's a little bit weird because like with the iPad Pro, like you had way more black bars going around the comic book page than on with the Android version. And that was true with the iPad Pro and I think the iPad Air, one of the versions. And then when I compare that to the Fires, none of them had that weird border problem. So that's just kind of another problem for me with using the iPad versus using an Android tablet for comic book reading. And yeah, I don't know how much more there is to say other than this is great. For the price that you're getting a full-size comic book page. And I mean, honestly, the only thing that could make that better would be if you actually had one that opened like that and then you could look at it on both. But I think we're pretty far away from that, so I'm not gonna hold my breath for that one. Of course, links in the description for where you can find the tablet, and otherwise you can check out the original video that I did right here.